Congresswoman, welcome back to the show. Good to see you.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
All right. So much of cable news and Washington chatter is about things that I think most people don't actually care about. So when you do town halls and you hear calls and meet with constituents, what is the #1 issue that people are asking about right now?
Well, I think that'll be interesting actually to be able to answer that in a few days because we haven't had an in-person town hall since COVID. And one of the things that we know is there is a digital divide. There are people who enjoy coming in person. There are people who prefer to participate by doing it through phone. So I think this is a really good chance to hear from a broad group of constituents. And this town hall, which we're having on a Sunday afternoon, is designed to be very, very family friendly. We're going to have events for kids. I believe we're even going to have snow cones. And we're calling it Policy in the Park. And really the goal is in part to hear what's on people's minds. But I do expect a lot of questions about infrastructure, about this budget reconciliation term that we hear about in D.C. And I think the biggest thing that happens at town halls is a chance to talk with people and explain to them sometimes what is kind of going over their heads or going too fast, or they're busy with their lives in talk shows or in DC News.
Well, and one of the reasons, of course, that you haven't been able to have the in-person is because of COVID and the pandemic. So do you think it's safe to say that pandemic is still on the minds of people when they show up on Sunday?
I think it will be, and that's one of the reasons that we've chosen to host this outdoors, is it is important for us to all still be trying to minimize risk. And, that includes being vaccinated, but it also includes doing things like hosting things outdoors, inviting people to bring their own blankets or chairs so that they can spread out. And when I do, photos and handshakes, I want to be able to really listen to my constituents and shake their hand and take a nice photo with them and look them in the eye. And so I'm going to be wearing a mask for that portion of the town hall. And so I think this really reflects where we are in the pandemic. As you just said, an improving situation, but we are not out of the woods yet, and so we have to continue to make sensible choices.
Yeah, I don't know how many people are focused on terms like reconciliation or filibuster, but a lot of people are aware of the fact that their roads are cracked. Or the bridges are potentially could fall down in an earthquake, or you've got broadband that doesn't work if you need to get your kids in a virtual classroom. And that's some of what this infrastructure bill is a part of. And frankly, widely popular, those concepts with both parties. Where are we at right now in terms of getting an actual deal done?
So President Biden has announced that there is a bipartisan infrastructure deal, and this includes both the infrastructure that is really transportation sector infrastructure like highways, but it also includes infrastructure that gets people all the way home and able to thrive and work and study from their homes. So an investment in broadband, an investment in clean water, an investment in water storage, which is a very important issue here in California. So this is a sort of all-encompassing kind of 360-degree investment in infrastructure. It is long overdue, and I'm thrilled that we have bipartisan agreement and cooperation on this, and I'm fully in support of the president continuing to lead us forward as we talk about what else we need to do for our economy to recover, to make sure that we're making investments in our workforce, and to do that hopefully on a bipartisan basis.
You just brought up workforce, and that makes me think about one of the tolls taken during the pandemic was on women and the workforce. I see you nodding your head. You're a congresswoman. You're a single mom. So how important is this to you?
It's incredibly important to our economy. And I mean, of course, obviously, I experience this every day. I'm on Zooms with kids crawling on the floor to, ask me if they can have a snack. I'm living this every day, and so are so many other workers. But I think one of the things I want to try to talk about at this town hall is why we're making this investment in childcare. It's not just about kids. It's not just about parents or grandparents who are caring for kids. It's really an investment in our economy because our global competitors, just like they've invested more in bridges, in rail, in infrastructure, and clean energy, they have also invested more in making sure that parents can continue to work and be successful, both raising a family and contributing to the economy. And so for me, this is about making this investment in childcare so that we can have the most strong, stable, and globally competitive economy going forward in the future. And that's exactly why I support the investment in infrastructure. So I see a parallel there that I want to talk with my constituents about and hear from them.
Tomorrow, you're going to be hosting a series of events with the Secretary of Labor, Marty Walsh. Today, he was out with Congressman Mark Takano, your Democratic colleague from Riverside. I spoke with him. Here's some of what he had to say.
You think about places like California that have emerging technologies, high-tech, biotech, just like my home state and other places across the country. There's a real opportunity for us to train young people into those skills. With the passage, hopefully, of the infrastructure bill, construction jobs and all kinds of jobs there as well. Another opportunity to open up a whole new level of opportunity for young people that might not have existed, or retrain people.
You get the chance tomorrow to talk to him about the future of jobs in California. What do you see as the future of jobs?
Well, it's very clear that green energy jobs are a huge opportunity for the United States and for California in particular. And that includes not just the actual energy transmission or the energy production, but also the research behind it. So one of the things we're going to be doing is, with my colleague Mike Levin and other congressmen, we're going to be visiting the UCI campus, talking with them about their fuel cell storage system, how they've become one of the greenest campuses, and how they've created electric vehicle infrastructure for both their students and their workers, their campus buses, that entire network. The other thing I'm really excited about doing with Secretary Walsh is going to visit a child care center and to talk about this incredibly interesting partnership that I have personally benefited from in terms of putting my kids there, between the city of Irvine and the Irvine Unified School District, in partnership to make sure that every family has a nearby, affordable, quality child care center. And so we're going to be visiting one of those, and not only getting to talk with the workers, but also with some kids, which I think will be really fun.
All right, kids, you have 3 of them, as I mentioned, 9, 13, and 15. I can't imagine how you pull this off every single day. As I said, single mom, Congresswoman. A little fun here behind the scenes of what it's like, because we were going to have you in our first segment, but you had to go pick up your kids and then race home to join us live on Zoom. We appreciate that. And your kids have drawn up a nice little Zoom checklist for mom. Is this right?
Yes, this is for doing TV, so I'm really grateful to my staff who help make sure that my kids don't walk into TV appearances or important Zooms. So this is the list of, make sure mom has makeup on, make sure that she's wearing an appropriate outfit, get the camera ready, be quiet, the most important thing to me. And so it's really fun. I think every parent, every family is trying to make adjustments to make work work for them during this pandemic, and I'm no exception.
And I like that you already got your kids writing on a whiteboard like you.
Do you have one? Do you have one handy?
I actually have one sitting over here, but it's a little too far for me to reach. But here's an insider tip. In addition to whiteboards, I'm also a super big fan of clipboards, which I think is less well known, but they too are very, very handy. So in my purse, I not only carry around a whiteboard and a whiteboard marker and an eraser, but also a clipboard. And so, needless to say, it's a large purse, very suitable for a minivan driving mom of 3.
Congresswoman Katie Porter, we thank you so much. The in-person town hall with her is this Sunday at 3 o'clock in Irvine. The public will need to RSVP to attend. The site right there is on your screen, porter.house.gov. It's there.
Yeah,
it's there.
Go to Google it. All right. Thank you, Congresswoman. We'll be right back.
Thanks for being